Hi, this is Bronze and Modern Gods. I'm John. Hey, that's Richard over there. What's going on, Richard?
Hi, John. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Well, we'll find out. Today, we're going to tackle something that blew up our DMs over the last week. All the changes at CGC in terms of price restructuring, some tier changes, membership changes, seems to have caused a bit of a ripple among collectors who like to get their books slabbed. So that's what we're going to handle today. Plus, we've got our hot book of the week, viewer mail, 25-year rule, underrated books of the week. But let's get going with our hot book of the week. Richard, it is Batman Fortnite 0.1.
Right. This is one of those books that brings in people who aren't a part of the hobby because it offers them something they can't get anywhere else. So Batman Fortnite 0.1 is one of those kinds of special books. John, why do you think people are out here buying this thing?
Oh, it's entirely because it has a code inside that's valid for a Harley Quinn skin in Fortnite. It's funny because if you collect it's a 6-issue miniseries, okay?
Right.
And if you get every single issue of the 6-issue miniseries, it also unlocks a Batman armor skin that you can only get if you get all 6 issues. Now, I'm not sure if this has any long-term play for readers or true Batman fans or things like that. It really seems to be younger Fortnite players who are sending their moms over to the LCS because seriously, both
Yeah.
my LCSs had lines out the door on release day, and they were like, "Oh, these are all newbies. These are not normal people that come into the shop."
Right. To me, this is all about the skins and collecting all six. It's genius marketing. But the story itself probably isn't that important. It doesn't really matter. I don't think anybody is really going to remember the story a year from now. It's the fact that you can get your Fortnite skins. And like you mentioned, soccer moms and people who just don't normally collect comic books want that skin, and therefore they'll drop their money for it.
And even if you go on eBay, you see people are selling just the Harley Quinn skin code alone. They're ripping open the poly bag because it comes poly bagged, and they're selling the skin and they're keeping the book. So I'm not sure what's going to go on with this. Right now, we're seeing cover A, which seems to be what people are gravitating to, selling for almost $30 on eBay right now. And covers B and C are selling for about $25. So, I got a bunch. I was thinking this was going to be a quick flip, and then I had to stop myself and think maybe it makes sense to hold on to some of these until all 6 issues are out.
To me, that's a great spec. You get all 6 issues, you give someone a guaranteed Batman armor skin. So unfortunately, that Batman armor skin is going to cost them $120, let's say. But apparently people are willing to pay that kind of money.
Well, the thing is, the skins are usually 20 Fortnite dollars or 2,000 Fortnite dollars, which is $20.
Mhm.
And you can buy a version of the digital copy of this book on the DC Universe app only, not on Comixology, not on Amazon, and get the code. So you don't necessarily need a physical copy of this book if you want both, when you want to read it and you want the skin. But I have to wonder. CGC is not going to slab this book with the polybag, so it's going to have to be ripped open if you're submitting it. Are we ever going to see people submitting this book to CGC?
I don't think so. So the code is separate from the book itself.
It's in the book, but you have to
Okay.
rip open the polybag in order to access it.
Right. But you don't have to destroy the book in order to get to it.
No,
Okay.
it's like an inkjet, code. Yeah. So interesting. I people are going to get this book slabbed at CGC or CBCS. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that is a great transition into our main topic, which are all the changes at CGC this week. If you are a CGC member or you've submitted books in the past and you're in the database, you probably got that email of doom this week that Richard and I both got.
Yeah, it's definitely an apocalypse. As of April 28th, the current structure that, as you know, CGC is still in place. On April 29th, all hell is going to break loose.
Yeah, Richard and I had a visceral reaction to this email when it came out, which was overwhelmingly negative. Like, what are they doing? We had a chance to calm down, really read through it, review things, and I actually have a couple of positive thoughts on this, which is shocking. But let's get into it. I think the first thing that is the big change are the membership tiers. Those are really affected. You had, your basic entry level one, then you had the next levels up to elite, and now you had step discounts, 5%, 10%, 15% off CGC slabbing services, depending on what membership tier you purchased. That's all gone. There's only one discount now, and that is for the elite membership, and it's a flat 10% off CGC services.
Right. It's me. I have a premium account,
Me
which
too.
was a tier that you previously got 10% discount.
Yeah.
The elite account used to give a 15% discount. If you submit a lot of books, it was worth getting that 15%. It was $150 versus $300 for the elite. Now that it's the only tier that gets a discount, there's even more push for people who submit. If you submit 10 books, it might be worth your while because you get that extra 10% discount.
The premium paid for itself. It was
Yeah.
$149, and then you got $150 credit, for any future services. So it made sense to do it if you were submitting a number of books. Now you're paying the same, really, the different premium, because you're paying $300 now. Is it $300 or $249?
It thought it was $299. It was going to
Yes.
look it up.
Okay. So you're paying basically $300 and you're getting 150 credit back. So it's basically a wash if you were a premium member before, but your discount goes from 15% to 10%. I mean, that's a hit.
It is. You're submitting, especially if you're doing like golden age books or silver age books that don't get value tier or don't get modern, and you're paying out of the butt for the standard rate. 15% versus 10% over 10 books is a lot of money.
So here is something I think is actually a positive. I took a step back and I actually looked at it and thought, oh, okay, this might be good. The value submission tier is now gone.
Right.
Value used to be for books that were $200 or more. Yeah. So now modern and value are combined. So any books that are 1975 or later with a fair market value of up to $400, it's now gone up to $400 for modern, which used to be $200. You can submit, and the price does jump to $22 now, which is $2 more than it used to be. It's a little hit, but not horrible. I think actually value and modern, it's kind of worth it, because if you had a modern book like, say, I don't know, Marvel Comics Presents 72 First Weapon X, and it's in fair market value for a 9.8 is like $500. You used to have to submit that under modern, and now you can actually do it under that one tier, which is okay. Well, that's over $400. Okay, maybe not.
And that's another good point. CGC always has reserved the right to bump things up to the next tier if they feel the fair market value of that book is higher than the tier that you submitted it in.
Just happened to me this week with a G.I. Joe #1. I mean, silver lining, it got a 9.8.
I've got 10 Marvel Secret Wars #1 sitting here that I'm about to submit. I'm going to submit them as moderns and see what happens. I don't know how this is going to affect CGC and their evaluation of the books to try to determine, are we being, screwed out of some potential money, and let's bump it up to the next tier. We'll have to wait and see how that works.
And how are they determining fair market value? There's no transparency there. That's what I want to know is,
right.
Are they looking at collect? Are they looking at G-Collector? I mean, I can't imagine they are, but you never know.
It's a good question. I was always hoping they'd be pulling up the old Overstreet and looking it up in there.
Like a dealer in Dubuque, Iowa, when you're driving through town. I love those guys. So meanwhile, economy books. This is the win. For me, this is a big win. I actually like this. Economy books are for books that are pre-1975, okay? Under $400. Those actually go down $2. That used to cost you $35. Now it's $33. So that's actually kind of cool because I do a lot of Atomic Age and Silver Age submissions. Our love story #1 is not going to be a $500 book, so I don't have to pay a premium for that, and I can get it slabbed and get that Patsy Walker's back there.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting. I'm about to submit a whole bunch of books, and some of them fall into this category. I could see what you're saying. You save a couple bucks, but ultimately, to me, the biggest change that I see is the fact that they've changed the way that Fast Track works.
Oh yeah, they're going to make up that $2 savings.
Right.
We'll get to that.
Right.
So standard books, $400 and up is what defines a standard book to a limit of $1,000. Those go up to $75 a whack.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Because that, to me, if you're submitting any keys nowadays, so heaven forbid you submit something, a Star Wars key that has an FMV of $1,200, maybe, it's again, we don't know where they're getting these numbers from. So now all of a sudden that thing is costing you it used to be 60, right? It used to be 60 for
60.
And now it's going up to 75. It's a significant increase for people who submit more than one book.
They're responding to the market. I think they've seen the market go nuts and they're like, oh, how can we take advantage of this? And this is kind of the way they're doing it. I don't know.
No, see, I see it as a different way. I see it as they are being just flooded with orders, flooded with submissions. And this is a way of kind of throttling that flood and also being able to continue to make about the same revenue. So you can have less submissions come in, and because of the price bump, they still can make a pretty penny.
Yeah, that flood is going to turn into a tsunami in the next 2 days as of this recording, because you're allowed to be under the old price structure 2 ways. If you go on to the online submission form and fill out your form before the 28th, and then it gets delivered, but within 30 days after that. Right. So you're covered. You don't have to FedEx your books overnight to get there. You just have to make sure you did that submission form by the 28th. The other way is, for me, luckily, I'm grandfathered in under my current premium membership with the old price structure until it runs out. My renewal is in September.
My renewal happens to be here in April. So I have a whole nother year of being able to, being grandfathered into the old price structure.
I hate you. Express books, $1,000 between $3,000. Those go up $20 to $120 a whack.
Yeah, that still knocks out. I mean, the way that modern keys are right now, $3,000 is nothing. That doesn't even cover an Ultimate Fallout #4 anymore.
Luckily, walkthrough has not changed. Those would have to go through as walkthrough, and that's still 3% of fair market value. So a Dejuric variant, are they saying if it's a 9.8, is it 20K? Are they calling that fair market value now? 3% of 20K is $600.
Wow. Yeah. That's significant. It really is. And it's not all CGC's problem, right? Or this is not all caused by them. It's because of the way the market is right now. The market is on fire, and John and I originally predicted that things would slow down in May. I may end up eating those words because I really don't see any sign that the market is getting saturated and that people are slowing down in their purchase of books.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Even a reholder, the cost of getting your book reholdered, if there's a crack and you want to get it replaced, that went from $15 to $20. I think that's a little bit highway robbery for a reholder.
Right.
And here's the big one for you modern people like Richard, who send modern books in bulk and you're not happy unless it's a 9.8. The 9.8 pre-screen is going to go up from $5 to $8. That's nuts.
Yeah, it's incredible. When you're submitting 100 books at a time, that's that's a lot of money that gets added on to your pre-screen.
And a whole new influx of brand new graders. I would like to think that they're going to be on some sort of baseline skill level where they all agree on things, but you submit 100 books and you get 89.8s or 89.6s. It's possible. We don't know what these new people are going to be like.
We don't. Yeah, that's a very good point. They're supposedly have hired 70 people for the Florida office. We don't really know the quality of those people. Are they simply being rushed through training so that they have warm bodies on the line to be able to grade these books? Or are they spending more time in seating them with other seasoned? We really have zero visibility into how they're actually handling this expansion.
Yeah, it's interesting. As someone who works in marketing and some sort of public relations job in my day job, I have suggestions. They, like they're watching this, but if they are, here's my suggestions, you guys. I think they got spooked by the last time they were being transparent. And by that, I mean, they did this really cool, air quotes, video on the socials showing someone grading a copy of Superman #1.
Oh yeah.
With no gloves, flipping through the book like it's like, he's got a time limit of 30 seconds to grade it. I mean, it really blew up in their faces. I do not think they expected the backlash that they got from that video. I think they thought, let's show people how we grade books and they'll be excited. No. Did not happen that way. So I think they're really gun shy about transparency now. They need to go the exact opposite way. They need to do a complete 180 and be 100% transparent. Start introducing the graders, meet Richard Brown, a little online profile about how long you've been collecting and your experience. That would go a long way to shore up consumer confidence. Also, if you're hiring people for customer service, brag about it. Hey, we've added 5 more people to take your calls and answer your emails. 70 more people. What are they, janitors? I mean, are they security guards? We don't know what the 70 people are, except by looking at job listings that they posted.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I think transparency is the way to validate these price changes to help soften that blow. But I don't think they're going to do it.
No, and let's talk about the way this was done. The optics here are so bad. They could not have picked a possibly worse time to announce this new price structure and these changes. You've got the busiest time in your company's history with the amount of quality control issues that people are posting on Instagram, wrong labels, slabbed upside down,
hair
stuck in the slab. Follow City Limits Comics on IG if you really want to see some horror stories. Why would you now take the time to announce, by the way, that crappy service you've grown accustomed to and the slow backlog, we're going to charge you more for it now. Aren't you happy?
Yeah, you're right. It's horrible timing. I can't imagine that they're so neophyte that there aren't other factors behind the timing other than we're not making enough money. We should be making more money. Let's raise our prices. I think there's something else going on that behind, at least I hope so, behind the scenes.
I don't know. After seeing that video they posted of the grading procedure, I honestly think that they're kind of like sometimes. And I mean, if you want to be a hero, CGC, get your backlog sorted out first. Look good in the customer's eyes. Brag about it. Look, we've hired more people. We're taking it on the chin. We're working weekends and nights. Then do your price hike.
Right.
People would feel so much better about it.
Right. You get your submission, your turnaround time below 4 weeks. I think people would be happy. Would be more understanding about increasing the price.
It's not even the turnaround time. Getting your book received now from when it's picked up at the post office box in Sarasota to the time when it's processed and marked as received in the system. I did Fast Track Modern's last submission. It took 4 weeks for it to be received in the system. That's crazy. It's never been like that before.
No, and you recently also had express books that took multiple days to go through the grading process.
Like I said earlier, I had a GI Joe 1 that I submitted under the modern tier. They thoughtfully called me up and said, "Hey, we just want to let you know that GI Joe's got to be bumped up to express." And I said, "Okay, I hope that means it's a 9.8 because that's the only tier that justifies it being express." They didn't answer that. Uh, it was a good assumption because it did come back a 9.8. Yay me. But the express that I paid for took 9 days. If I'm paying for express, which is supposed to be 5 to 7 business days, you better give me express.
Right. Exactly. Don't just charge the extra money.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about the pressing services yet. So let me cover this real quick. Quick press has gone away. That
Right.
was we'll press it for you real quick and then throw it in a stack. It's a good thing that's gone away because it was a piece of crap anyway. I think
Yeah, they're saying that their normal pressing services reduce the time and the expense so that they're just going to be offering that.
it leads to my bigger suggestion, which is if you're using CCS pressing, why? Stop it. It's not worth it. Go Google the customer feedback about their pressing services. They are not doing a good job. I'm just speaking frankly here. You are really better off sending it to a freelance third party professional that you trust, or buying a press and getting Captain Mike's books and watching some videos like
Right.
ours and learning how to do it yourself. You really are. The investment of time and money is so small compared to the benefits. Richard saw my submission, my modern submission from this last week where I got my grades online, 9.8s across the board with one 9.6 every
Right.
time. I don't have to worry about it. I know how to grade and I know how to press.
The only thing I think, if you get a signature series, you can get that cracked and pressed and still keep the signature series as opposed to getting the qualified grade, if I'm correct.
You can, and that scares me because I see story after story on Instagram and Facebook groups of someone who had a book that they sent in with for a signature series repress, and it got mutilated somewhere along the way and dropped down from a 9.6 to a 4.5. I think a
Oh.
really bad example where someone in the pressing service, bent a corner and pressed it, like that. Accidents happen, but if you're using an insured third party presser, if an accident happens, you're going to be covered. You're going to get reimbursed. Uh, CGC's response is, we'll give you what we feel is appropriate, a credit for $100. Yeah,
Oh,
well,
jeez.
okay, the my detergent variant is now $10,000 less than what it was before. Extreme example, I know, but imagine the nightmare if you had that signed and someone screwed it up.
Oh yeah, I'm not recommending it. I'm not recommending it at all. I thought that was the only way that you can retain that signature series yellow label. Yeah, it's. I've never used it. I've always used third party, or I've got two presses right now sitting here with books in them. Just bought them off. Found one here locally. Bought another one off of Amazon. They both work great.
So the big question is this going to benefit the competitor CBCS? I'm not even going to mention PGX. Sorry. Is this going to benefit CBCS? And Richard, you have thoughts on this.
I do. I just got back a book. I sent in a book that was signed by J. Scott Campbell. You can't submit it to CGC otherwise without getting a qualified label because of the signature on it. It's a gorgeous signature. So CBCS has a verified signature tier where they'll actually verify the signature. Sent it in, had a COA, so it wasn't really a hard thing to verify. And it came back. The slab is absolutely gorgeous. It came back with a yellow label, 9.8, and I actually like the slab from CBCS more than I like the slab from CGC. I think CBCS does a better job of grading. I think they have a reputation of having stricter requirements for each grade than the CGC has, and I really don't feel any I don't feel any hesitation really anymore to submit books to CBCS. Yeah, you may lose 5, 10%, maybe 15% even over a CGC slab book. But think of how many hair cells you save in the process. And the turnaround time was faster, which is surprising because CBCS used to have a reputation for slow turnarounds. Um, I really think this is going to benefit CBCS if they do it right, if they tout their advantages, if they continue to offer good grading services, consistent grading services over what CGC offers. I think this could be the pivoting point where they go from second tier to maybe equivalent to CGC.
It's interesting because the hesitation a lot of people have about switching is the perception that CBCS books sell for less
Mhm.
on the market. And, sometimes perception is reality. I bought in my Avengers 4. It's a CBCS 8.5. I didn't hesitate. I
Mhm.
didn't care that it was in a different slab. I actually like the slab better, like you say. It's thinner, it's more attractive. What I don't like, and this is just the OCD guy in me, is I hate the label. Even though it's
Yeah.
redesigned, hi guys, Steve Borok, whoever's there at CBCS, I'm pleading with you, spend the money on a graphic designer and get that thing redesigned so it looks nice, please.
Mhm. Yeah,
Nice, professional.
there is a perception that they sell less for, and they tend to. But I use that to my advantage. For example, a couple weeks ago, I was looking for a Captain America number 25 Adam Hughes variant, which
Mm,
is it's a gorgeous book. It's where you got Cap busting out of the ice with his shield. It's amazing, amazing cover. And I was looking, and the price for a CBCS book was $500. The price
mm,
for a CGC book, 9.8 also, was $600. I didn't hesitate. I saved myself $100. And as these books go up in value, that difference of $100 in that price, it's going to shrink in terms of what people are going to be willing to pay. I was totally happy with saving that $100.
yeah, it also brings up something about CGC is they used to offer crossover service
Mhm.
where they would take a competitor's slab, crack it open for you, and reholder it in a CGC holder. I didn't see anything.
They
uh,
dropped that.
they
They
dropped it, did
they
they?
dropped that, yes, as a part of this
Ah.
restructuring, you no longer can submit, competing books, which is unfortunate. Now CBCS will do it for you, I'm sure, but CGC
CGC,
won't.
I'm telling you, you need someone to help you with your marketing and your overall strategy. You gotta bring it back up the Brinks truck to my house and we'll talk. I'm not moving to Florida,
Now,
but I'm
John John charges a reasonable $500 an hour.
yeah, you wish. So what do you guys think? We're curious because we obviously have some very serious thoughts here. And what do you guys think? Because it's the community that really decides upon these things, not us.
Right. I mean, are people going to are you going to stop using CGC? I mean, John, what is your opinion? Are you going to switch over to CBCS?
Old habits die hard. I think that is the advantage CGC has is, they were first. And a lot of times in many industries, when you're first, you win.
Mhm.
And
And
it's
our
hard.
buddy Steven, Minor Keys Comics, had mentioned he was on a podcast with a Long Island crew, and he mentioned how his OCD won't let him have mismatched cases on his wall. And that's another problem. I could totally see that. If you have all CGC slabs and then one CBCS, yeah, that would bother me.
But sometimes, even though you're first, a better competitor comes along, takes the existing product, improves upon it, and passes you up. I mean, how many people use Alta Vista as their search engine anymore?
That's true. That's very true. I'm rooting for CBCS. I really am. If for no other reason than to give competition to CGC that will cause them to work harder.
I just have to bite the bullet and try it. That's my thing. I have no problem with CBCS stuff for my personal collection. I am very hesitant to send a bunch of moderns that I'm going to flip. That is the truth. And I hate myself for it a little bit, but I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yep. Tell us what
So
you think, everybody.
tell us what you think. All these changes, this onslaught of changes, this horrific onslaught of changes leads us to The 25-year rule. Yeah, I thought of a segue this week.
Wow, you must have planned that out. That's great.
25-year rule this week takes a look at Onslaught, Marvel Universe #1. This was the culmination of a crossover event that came to a close when the Hulk, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, and the Avengers sacrificed themselves to stop Onslaught. This book was the lead-in to Heroes Reborn. I was going to say something else, but I think I covered my thoughts on Heroes Reborn last week on the 25-year rule. This is an interesting book. There are 2 editions, a nice, really cool wraparound cover by Kubert, and then there's a gold edition. I've never seen this gold edition before in my life.
Oh, you found it doing research?
I found it during research. I also found out that the GPA for Onslaught Marvel Universe #1 in a 9.8 is $50. But the gold edition just sold this past March for $500 in 9.8.
Wow. Wow.
So if you're sitting on a gold edition of Onslaught, 25-year rules kicking in on that and selling for $500.
How do you differentiate it from the regular edition?
Oh, it's gold. The whole cover is gold foil and embossed. It's
Oh, wow.
yeah, it looks like a big brick of gold. Oh,
Yeah, if you're sitting on it, it's time to cash in.
people love this story. We had a question for all of you in our bonus episode this past week where we asked you guys what your favorite crossover is. And a couple of you piped up and said Onslaught was your favorite company-wide crossover. We still want to know what your favorite crossovers are, and we will cover it in our viewer mail bonus episode coming later this week. So don't forget about that. And now it's time, Richard, for our underrated books of the week. What do you have?
I picked a book that I really didn't know much about other than it was desirable. And that's Danger Girl Preview Gold from 1997. Danger Girl is a series that was started by J. Scott Campbell, better known for his covers nowadays, and Andy Hartnell. The first 7 issues of the first series was drawn by J. Scott Campbell. The book that I'm talking about, though, is the preview edition that came out in 1997. The first issue for the J. Scott Campbell series came out in March of 1998. The series is still in production today as an Image title. There's a variety of different spin-offs. It's Danger Girl with subtitle X. So there's a whole bunch of different stories to follow. And the premise of the book is you've got 3 sexy secret agents who go through different adventures like Charlie's Angels or Indiana Jones. It's a very action movie oriented type of series, and it's really good. I mean, it's survived now since 1997 as an ongoing series. There's been rumblings about a movie in 2017, and they're dragging their feet on it. This is one of those movie specs. Apparently in March of 2019, the Hollywood Reporter said that somebody was picked to write and direct the film, Jeff Wadlow. We haven't heard anything since. That's 2 years ago. So, take it with a grain of salt. For the preview gold, and the preview gold is a limited edition copy of the book. There's 34 on the census, of which there are 34 9.8s on the census out of 52. There's even one 10.0,
Wow.
which I would love to get my hands on. It's pretty inexpensive. A 9.8 goes for $179. You can buy raws of this book for about $50 on eBay. That one's 179 though was back in 2019. There really isn't very much movement on this book. If for some strange reason something happens with this movie spec, and supposedly it's still churning along, this could turn out to be a very profitable book if you buy it at the current prices. I would love to see this made into a movie, either a live action or an Archer competitor. I think it would be great. It's a great storyline. I love J. Scott Campbell. I really think this book has been underrated over the years.
Oh, 2 gold books in 1 week. We are definitely in the 90s.
Yeah, we are.
My underrated book of the week is one that I am again shocked and surprised and somewhat appalled that you did not pick yet. And that is Giant Size Supervillain Team Up #1. This was the launch of a new ongoing series that teamed up Namor the Submariner, a favorite of Richard's, along with Doctor Doom, another favorite of Richard's. This first issue also reprints Marvel Superheroes #20. This is a tougher square-bound book, so that means 9.8s are not that common. These books have all sorts of issues, as you've seen from Giant Size X-Men #1, which, by the way, came out the same time. And the prices reflect that a bit. 9.8 sold this month in April for $450. Richard, do you have a Giant Size Supervillain Team Up #1?
I do not. I did not even know it existed, so that's probably why I don't have it. That is a great combo, Doctor Doom and the Submariner, and MSH 20 as a reprint. That to me is a perfect book.
Giant Size Supervillain Team Up ran for 2 issues, and then the Giant Size line got canceled, and it spun off into a regular ongoing bi-monthly title that ran for 14 issues, and then annually after that. The book is, and Doctor Doom's in every issue, by the way, just about. The book was a bit of a mess. Writers were changing like almost on a issue by issue basis. It was a bit of a creative merry-go-round because this book was created for one reason and one reason only, not because people love Namor and Doctor Doom. This book was created to help secure the trademark on the term supervillain. That's why when sales really were in the toilet, instead of canceling it, they just made it an annual title because they had to justify that trademark by at least putting out 1 issue a year with that word in the title with the trademark and register mark on it.
That's nefarious.
Nefarious, just like Doctor Doom.
That's right.
So Richard is now going on to eBay as we speak. I can see him typing.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
And that is going to do it for us this week. Make sure you follow us at Bronze and Modern Gods on Facebook and Instagram. And Richard, where else can they find us?
They can find us at bronzeandmoderngods.com, the website that John just updated.
Finally, make sure you send us your viewer mail, and we'll see you later on this week.
Yep, everybody stay safe.